My name is Aimee Christensen, and I'm founder and CEO of Christensen Global. We're a strategic advisory firm developing, accelerating, and scaling solutions to build collective well-being. I'm dedicated to this work because my parents were lifelong learners. They loved nature and the outdoors and spent as much time as possible in it and protecting it. And they were advocates. They raised their voices for what was right and just. We also spent time in Mexico with the Mayans. There I learned about a different way of life, a relationship with nature and a different value system that rang true to me. And so in college, I majored in Latin American studies and anthropology because I wanted to learn more about this system. And afterward, worked to advance indigenous human rights in Guatemala, went to the 1992 Earth Summit in Rio to learn about this new concept of sustainable development. A group of us organized ourselves as U.S. Youth at Rio to advocate for more urgent action and call on the United States to take greater leadership on sustainability. As a young activist in Rio, I saw the power of advocacy and of government. And I went to Washington, where I felt I could make the most difference by building a career dedicated to evolving our governmental policies to align with nature and to values that serve not just short-term financial outcomes, but quality of life, equity and opportunity, true sustainable development. I've now spent 30 years in government, the law, philanthropy and business, advancing smarter approaches to serve these values, to benefit people, planet, and prosperity. In 1994, across the table from Christiana Figueres, who would become the architect of the Paris Agreement, I negotiated the first bilateral agreement on climate change. It served both of our interests. For the United States, we sought to progress global climate goals and to open up new markets to our environmental technologies, including renewable energy. For Costa Rica, they sought to attract clean technologies and investment, as well as to finance the protection of nature. In 2006, as the first climate hire at Google and Google.org, the new philanthropic arm of the company, I was charged with building a plan for Google to address climate change. Our strategy leveraged all of the company's assets, its operations, starting with installing the largest corporate solar system at the time. I represented Google in lobbying for the California Global Warming Solutions Act. We brought its engineers to bear on the climate challenge with the Recharge It project. This was a project that showed the potential of the electrification of transportation. The world needed to know that electrification could be a major solution to our climate crisis. And so at a time when there was just one plug-in hybrid in the world, we made more and tracked their performance. Our data showed that electrification could dramatically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It showed the potential of this strategy for the climate. And so we held a major press event where we announced the results. We plugged the cars into the grid where our solar panels were, and we showed how they could be charged by sunshine, and how the grid could then tap into the car batteries for grid services. A smarter energy system connecting electricity and transportation to optimize efficiency, and a better, more resilient grid. That same week, we also announced a commitment to carbon neutrality, to fully align Google's operations with the needs of the climate. In addition to this work for single institutions at the US Department of Energy, at Google, I've advanced smarter approaches through multi-stakeholder collaborations. By aligning government policies and business priorities and investments, we could reach those goals much faster. We orchestrated business action for climate at COP16, at the climate talks in Cancun, in support of CEOs' climate leadership with Coca-Cola, Dow, Duke Energy, and FEMSA. Together, those CEOs not only made their own corporate commitments, but also called on the governments to come back to the table after Copenhagen and get an agreement in place which would benefit the planet as well as their bottom line. At Christensen Global, we focus on the greatest opportunities for impact at the moment. We gather the partners with whom to collaborate to address that need, and we leverage law and policy and business and investment, curation and storytelling to drive impact. Together we can build smarter solutions for people, planet, and prosperity, and scale up the solutions for the world we need.